Coach, what does it say about Ray Lane where he can put the onside kick behind him, also some passing plays during that game behind him, but then to step up and help make a game clinching play like he did?
Well, I think it says a ton about him. I think it says a ton about our players in general. I think Ray Lane played over 100 snaps in that game, including almost 50 plays in the fourth quarter. And I thought Ray played really well. Obviously we'd like to play better as a whole defensively, and but thought he played a really good game. And I think this is a lot about him and our overall mentality of a football team is to go on to the next play. And he could have easily hung his head after that onside kick, and but to bounce back and seal the game with the play that he made, I thought was exceptional. You'd like him to maybe get down there, but I don't blame him for doing what he did. And then, not only that, it just shows how smart the kid is. Ran down the field and ate some time off the clock. Didn't run right into the end zone, and just an exceptional play and found a way. Really proud of him, and I thought it was a reflection of the way that our guys played throughout the game. There were peaks and valleys. We knew there would be, and I told them before the game, the team that handled the adversity the best is probably the team that was going to win that game, and we certainly had some down the stretch, and so it was good. After being on our heels a little bit there to make a play to finish the game out was awesome.
It's been the case since you came to Navy as the defensive coordinator. Each week, a quarterback that seems like they're better than the next. Jacob Zeno, he had a lot of, they say, offers to possibly move to teams in the Power Four, but decided to stay at UAB. He can really sling it. What's impressed you about him?
Everything. I think he's as good a quarterback as we have in our league. Really efficient. Knows where to go with the football. They're a tough team to defend offensively. You get a lot of different formations, a lot of motions, a lot of shifts. They throw a lot at you, and he does a really good job of running that offense. But he's can make all the throws. Really athletic quarterback, and that always scares you because he can certainly beat you with his feet. And just a really, really good player.
While football is the ultimate team sport, what does it mean for this team and for the development of the program that you're building when players like a Blake Horvath or a Colin Ramos win a weekly national award that gains recognition for Navy football?
Oh, I think it's great. Those guys deserve that recognition, so it's good to see them get it. And I think those guys will be the first ones to tell you that they owe their teammates a lot of that, the credit for that award. But, Blake's playing at an extremely high level. I think, coming to this game, he only played about 5 quarters of football, and you saw what he could do in 4 quarters against a really good, athletic, Memphis defense. His throwing the ball really well, running the offense well, and the ability to make plays with his feet, has been the most impressive thing to me so far this season. He's been an extremely effective runner, and the kid can flat out go. He can make people miss, and he showed his ability to break tackles, and just playing at an extremely high level. And then no surprise with Colin. I mean, he got played 100 snaps, 20 tackles, made a tremendous play late in the game in the red zone. It's great, well deserved by both those guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Scott.
Pete Medhurst.
Coach, I know you're not trying to be a buzzkill, but you celebrate winning, but you've obviously got to turn the page. Do you have to have the maturity conversation about, hey, now that we've won a big game, now we got to make sure we focus and take care of our job on the road coming up?
Yeah, I don't think so, but I will anyways. We had a lift at lunch today, and you think you guys might be in there kind of giddy, and they weren't. They were all about their business today, and it's a tough week for our guys. We got 6-week exams coming up. We got a tough opponent. Our guys know that. On the road, UAB had a bye before they play us, so they're a well-coached football team. They'll be well prepared. They'll have a good plan, and we're gonna have to have a great week of preparation and be able to manage some things outside of football while we're doing that. So, our guys, they expected to win that game. So, it's not like we just shocked the world, and it's a 1-0 mentality. You heard me say that a bunch around here, and I think our guys have bought into that. And I think they've demonstrated it as well. And so, we say it all the time: you can't choke on the sugar, you can't get complacent. And we don't have guys that will do that. I mean, there's no trophy getting handed out after 3 games of the year. So we know we got a lot of work ahead of us. We know we got a really good opponent, playing in a hostile environment on the road. And so it's going to be a great challenge for us. And we have a great week of preparation.
Obviously, your offense helped by doing its job and consistently executing. But as a coaching staff, how do you manage 95 snaps for your defense in that contest? Because that's an extraordinary number, in today's game.
Yeah, it's tough. And you going into a game, you think you're going to be on the field that many snaps, and you got to play a lot of guys. The way that game went was kind of unusual. 45 snaps in the fourth quarter. 8 minutes left in the game. I think we played 30 snaps. The rest of the way, and so at that point, you got your sweaty guys on the field. It's hard to put a guy into the game at that point that hadn't played a whole lot to give guys a blow, and so we got to do a little better job of keeping guys fresh and making sure those guys that are playing a lot of snaps on defense are getting a blow on special teams. But for the amount of snaps they play, we've never played that many snaps around here on defense, not since I've been here. And our guys kept fighting, kept playing, and we're on our heels a little bit there, and that was part of the the thought process there at the end of the game. And we got a little conservative, and in retrospect, maybe shouldn't have been, but it's kind of a weird, weird flow of the game there at the end. And but we pulled it out, and really, really happy with the effort on defense. We'd like to have played better, especially at times, and got some stops when we needed them. And they made some plays. A really good offense, really big physical offensive line, good running backs and quarterback special, I think. And we had a big challenge. And fortunately, the offense played exceptionally well. And I wish we could have got the ball back to those guys a little bit more. Maybe we shouldn't score as fast. You know what I mean, Pete? That would have helped a little bit. But overall, really pleased with the effort. There's things that we got to clean up, really on both sides of the football. And there's some things, as well as we played offensively. The exciting things, you look at the tape, and there's things that, from a fundamental standpoint, from a technique standpoint, that we can get a lot better at. And so I know our players are going to go attack that stuff this week, and we'll just keep building on what we're doing.
Yeah, we'll never give back touchdowns. We'll take them whenever you can get them.
No doubt.
You obviously had to make a change on the offensive line due to injury. Just thoughts on the way that group played, because how physical that group they were playing against up front is. Yeah,
I thought they were outstanding, Pete. I really did. I thought Cam came in and did a phenomenal job at guard, for his first start, and played a lot of snaps, did some really, really good things. And he's going to continue to get better and better. And then, moving Bouton out to tackle, thought he functioned really well. Really, really pleased with the offensive line. I thought they played extremely hard. I thought they moved the defensive line. They were downfield making blocks. Just really impressed with their effort. And I think they should get the game ball for this game, because they played their tails off. Really pleased.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Pete.
Wags.
So what's your general assessment of scouting UAB? They beat they won their opener, then lost to Louisiana Monroe, and then obviously Arkansas being a SEC team.
Yeah.
What are you seeing?
Yeah, I think the Monroe game was a little bit of an outlier for them. That's a tough road game, and it's kind of one of those games where everything that could have went wrong did for them. But you see them bounce back against Arkansas and give them a really good game. They're a good football team. I think Trent Dilfer's an excellent coach. Got a ton of respect for him as a coach and a person. I think his team kind of takes on his personality. But you look at him offensively, a lot of weapons. Starting with the quarterback, they got all-conference center back, they got all-conference wide receiver back, and defensively, they're big, long, athletic, and they're good on both sides of the football. It's just, like I said, this is a good football team we're going to play. It's going to be a great challenge for us going on the road this week.
You mentioned about Zeno. What do you think makes him good? What do you feel he does well? But he has put up great numbers over the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, I just, like I said earlier, I think he's a special talent. Ability to make all the throws on the field, gets the ball out quickly. Really athletic, can beat you with his feet, can stay alive in the pocket. Makes good decisions. And he's just a really good quarterback.
Can you talk about going on the road? It's been a favorable schedule to be able to start with 3 straight home games.
Mm-hmm.
Strauss has in the notes that the record on the road over the last few seasons is not real good. What was it, Strauss 3-10 or something like that?
Yeah, away from home, that's neutral and road games. Yes.
Can you talk about the importance of winning a conference game on the road, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, they're all important, whether at home or on the road. Always there's some challenges when you go on the road. Sometimes I think it's good for us to get away and allows us to get focused on the game. And I like the challenge of going on the road, especially playing in a place like UAB. That's going to be a nice stadium, a nice environment, a hostile environment, and no, but really looking forward to the challenge. But yeah, I mean, whether we're put it down in the parking lot or in Navy Marine Corps Memorial or wherever, I mean, we got to go play the game, and our kids will be ready.
Well, and kind of along those lines of that question is that your next, what is it, Strauss? 2 of the next 9 games are away from home. Only 2 true home games the rest of the way.
Yeah, Navy is the only FBS team in the country that has 2 of its remaining 9 games at home.
Scott's always got the stats, man.
With thoughts on
honestly,
that,
Bill, I don't think about it. I don't care. There's nothing we can do about it at this point. I'm just excited to go play, and our kids are too. And like I said, don't matter where we're playing. We love to play at home. It's great to be in front of our crowd. Who's awesome, but I love the challenge of going on the road too.
last for me before I pass it back to Scott, the momentum, the confidence. I mean, you have had 3 great games to start. You talked all season about getting off to a great start this season, and you have. How important is that?
Extremely important. We're kind of right where we wanted to be, right where we hoped we would be. Certainly things, the exciting thing for me, Wags, is that you come in, you watch the film, and you see so many areas that you can be better in, and it's great to come in here after a win and be able to make some corrections and fix some things that need to get fixed, and know that there's things that you can do better and build on. And so it's exciting, and every one that you win, the next one comes out much more important. And our team has that much more confidence in what we're doing and confidence in each other. And so it's good momentum, but it's we're always on to the next one. What can we do better, and how can we continue to grow and build this football team?
Scott Wyckoff.
Coach, we talked about the offense and the defense. Special teams, when you score that many points in a game, you can never practice live like in a game. I know you practice a lot on special teams, but does that really help the development of the special teams when you're doing that many extra points and kicking, and also on the kickoffs that they can really fine tune their game?
Yeah, we definitely covered a lot more kicks, and some of those units, you got some of your younger players, some of your backups on those units, so it's good to get them game repetitions, and that's how those guys end up getting on the field on offense and defense. Is they prove themselves on special teams, and I thought some guys did well in that regard.
I know they talked about the road record. Has there been a common denominator, or has it just been the common struggles that this team's had over the last couple of years that have just happened to be on the road also?
Yeah, I don't think our struggles necessarily been on the road. I think you just look at our overall record for the last 4 years. I think we played really well on the road at times, and so it's not something that I think about or really talk to our team about. It's one game at a time, and we control things we can control and don't worry about the things that we can't.
Have you learned over the 6 years you've been on the yard kind of how to manage these difficult academic weeks? Really not having to deal with that before you came in, but now learning how that works?
Yeah, certainly. I think, the thing that we always talk to our players about around here is being able to compartmentalize, because obviously, Scott, they got a lot on their plate, and so however we can help them in regards to that, we try to help them, but we can't use that stuff as a crutch. But certainly, we always want to help those guys out as much as we possibly can. So there's things that we can do to help them during a week like this. We will. We're going to cut back on some things today, especially defensively after playing as many snaps as we did. So we're always worried about their bodies, physically and mentally and emotionally where they're at, but also understanding that they've got a lot of responsibilities here on the yard, and a legitimate class load and 6 weeks exams are no joke. It takes a lot out of them, and you worry about them getting enough sleep, and so we just talk about making sure they're organized with their time being efficient with their time and being able to compartmentalize when they're over here. Can't be thinking about chemistry or calculus, or thermodynamics. They got to be focused on football, and when they leave here, then they go focus on things they need to focus on. But it's certainly something that we take into consideration around here a lot.
Have a good week, Coach.
Thanks, Scott. You too.
Pete,
Coach, we talk about it, maybe not enough, but is a game like that this past Saturday also a tribute to your strength and conditioning program and what that staff does that allows players to be that good with over 100 snaps on the field?
Yeah, 100%. I talked to Coach Carizzi this morning and told him that exact thing. You can see, biggest difference to me right now is up front, on the offensive line, the way that we've been able to move some really good players. And I think we're in really good shape too. You look at our skill players, you watch the game and we look faster. I think everybody would agree with that, especially offensively, the way we're playing. And, I think I've said it a bunch, and I'll say it again. Jim Carizzi and the strength and conditioning staff have had a tremendous impact in a short amount of time here. I think he's outstanding. I think his staff is outstanding, and you can see that reflected in the way that we're playing on the field.
You guys went, it looked like, for lack of a better term, dime a lot, putting Giuseppe in, taking the one lineman out. Just wrestling back and forth, because obviously they were willing to run the ball in some third and distance situations too. How hard is that chess match with you and PJ trying to figure out when you want to use that package, especially when a team seemed to be committed to running in some of those situations also as part of that chess match back and forth?
Sure. Going into the game, our big thing was not to give up explosive plays.
Right.
And we kind of fork-tonguing our guys a little bit because you want to let them go play fast and loose. And we can't get away from doing the things that we do defensively, being aggressive, being multiple. And we got a little conservative at times, and that's on me. But at one point, you're up 19 points, with 8 minutes left. And if they want to run the ball, you kind of, not that you want to give up a big run play, but you got to kind of play the pass first. And we dropped 8 a ton. Didn't hold up as well and 3 down as we hoped to. Didn't fit things great. Didn't tackle great at times. But just want to make sure we kept everything in front of us and made them earn everything that they got. Sometimes when you're playing a really good quarterback like that, it's tough because you're not able to generate much of a pass rush. And it's kind of like 7-on-7 back there, and he had a lot of time. And that's the one thing, looking back is I don't know if we ever made the quarterback feel uncomfortable during the course of the game. And if we had to play it again, I think we would take a different approach.
You knew you hired what you thought was a pretty good guy offensively, but until you get into the games, as you talk about a lot, this is a results-oriented business.
Yeah.
Seeing him and his ability to call plays, you can scheme up great-looking stuff on the whiteboard, but seeing him in that element the other day and really, calling an incredible football game, just thoughts on what you saw when you went back and watched the tape and had a chance to look at it over again.
Yeah, just exceptional. I think there's a reason why Drew's had success everywhere he's been. Calling an offense, and he's a really good play caller. He sees what the defense is doing. He knows how to attack people, and in the system, one thing complements another, and he's got a lot of answers to what people are trying to do. And I've been impressed with our kids' ability to go execute the plan. It's one thing to call a play, and it's another thing for you guys to go out and execute what they're doing with confidence. And just super impressed with his play calling ability. His leadership. You watch the guys play; they're playing extremely hard. They're having fun playing the game. We talked about this morning. Adversity's coming at some point.
Sure.
People are going to do a good job defending us, and when that happens, how are we going to respond? Are we going to be? We get 12 explosive plays Saturday. It's not always going to be that way. And do we have the ability to grind people out and have some of those 10, 12, 14 play drives like I love to see? But I couldn't be more pleased with the job that Coach Carnick's done, not just from play calling standpoint, but from a leadership standpoint with that side of the ball, that unit with the staff over there. We've got tremendous offensive staff that works really, really well together. It's a collaboration in that room, And the thing you love about Drew and PJ too is those guys don't have egos. You know, they get in the room and they toss ideas around. They come up with a lot of different things, and they're all on the same page. And we just want to win football games, and nobody really cares around who gets the credit for it. You know, but he's been exceptional, Pete. I can't say enough good things about Drew.
I know I probably know where this answer is going to go, but as a head coach, as a coach in football, period, growing up, you know, you hope you have moments like Saturday. Just for you personally, what was that moment like walking into that locker room after that game to greet your guys and being able to share in that euphoria for their effort that they gave?
It's great. Winning's hard. You know, beating good football teams is really, really hard. And so the thing I kept thinking about is just elated for our players. You know, especially these older guys who've been around here for a long time, really worked their tails off. You know, we talk about deserving success around here, and those guys do. And so it's awesome to see the hard work, the trust, all the unselfishness pay off on a stage like that against a really, really good football team. It's a great day, no doubt about it. And to be able to celebrate that at the end, man, I don't care what kind of wins we get, we're going to celebrate them.
Right.
Because you put in so much hard work and blood, sweat, and tears, and that's what it's all about. So it's a core memory right there, and really just happy for our players. They deserve it, and I was ecstatic for them.
Thank you, sir. We'll see you Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Wags.
So going back to the offense, I mean, Drew seems to have a natural desire to attack, and first play of the game, he takes a shot, which frankly should have worked. The guy was open. If Horvath hits him, that's a touchdown. Do you like that mentality?
You know I do, Mags. You know, him and I's personality in regards to that stuff is very, very similar. You know, and he'll ask me if I want to take a shot here. I'm okay with it, and I've never told him no. You know, if that answers your question. So we want to be aggressive.
Said that the other last game against Temple, when they were backed up against their own goal line, he said, "Coach, I want to take a shot," and he said you were like, you didn't immediately respond. Then you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he said he didn't respond with an affirmative as he wanted.
Yeah. I must not have heard him. I think my answer was probably not. Yeah, it's probably hell yeah. Let's take a shot. You know, that's I love it, and that's what we got to be. Man. We got to be aggressive, and you know he fired a lot of bullets on Saturday, and I love it. Keeps people off balance.
We're seeing that this offense builds upon itself, and Blake had mentioned that in preseason to me, and I didn't quite grasp what he was saying until you watch it. Everything they do, because there's so many things that look the same, it does build upon itself. And you can see Memphis really they were starting to guess as to where the ball was going.
Sure.
And I think of that play where Horvath had the 90-yard run. He was almost 10 yards downfield before anybody on defense realized he had the ball. I think one defender reacted. The other guys were like, where's the ball? And another thing, when you think of that play where he rolled out to the right with the entire, and Chapman slips out the back door and there's no one over there.
You know, both those plays were set up off of other plays, right? And the 90-yard run by Blake was a new wrinkle that we had in this week that looks like a play we've been running. So that's a beautiful thing about what we're doing is, you know, adding those wrinkles every week. And then, you know, there's certain things that we're going to do every week, and you've got to figure out a way to make it look a little bit different, whether it's the formation or a motion or a shift or something like that. You know, moving the O-line around forces the defense to adjust. Your eyes in the wrong place. You have to communicate. Maybe it cloudies the reads for the linebackers and the safeties. And so it's a lot of eye candy, a lot of moving parts. But it's simple for our players. You know, it's the same thing that we try to do here on defense. You know, it looks kind of chaotic, but at the end of the day, it's somewhat simplistic for your players. And as long as they can go out and execute the things that you're doing, and you can be multiple in that regard, it's a good formula.
Well, and that's what Drew had said going into the game. You know, you want to make them think that extra half second, slow them down. And that's what I saw on Saturday, a Memphis team that got after Florida State and had 12 tackles for loss, 4 sacks. They were not able to attack because they've got to play assignment. And it's what
Sure.
The triple option was, supposed to do, but
Mhm.
like we know, I've talked about many times with the change in blocking rules, they started pinning their ears back and coming after people because they weren't worried about getting cut.
Right.
This is an equalizer on that front.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I love what we're doing offensively, because it's so unique and different. You show them so many different looks, and it's hard for a defense to say, all right, we're going to be super aggressive, because you got to go play assignment football, versus a lot of moving parts. And so, it tends to simplify what people do defensively. Not to say people aren't going to pressure us and try things, but it certainly slows people down a little bit when you do the things that we're doing.
So with the 5 one-play drives, and you mentioned it's a double-edged sword. I mean, you're happy that you just scored a touchdown, but their defense was just on the field. They barely had time to take their helmets off and swig some water, and they're going back out there. You mentioned about using more people. Is maybe that the way to go? Is that if there's a one-play drive of that nature, maybe you just put a fresh group in, and when you come back out on the field, or is that too simplistic?
No, it's not too simplistic. I think certainly if it's a game that's going the way that one did, we've got to be able to plug some more guys in and not be afraid to do that. We got a lot of good players, and some backups that we got to trust they're going to go in there and do their job. And so something we talked about this morning with the defensive staff is there's certain guys that we got to be able to put in the game and go play. And there's some younger players that haven't played a lot for us, but we're going to have to play those guys and start to establish that depth. And but yeah, certainly that's something that we've talked about, Wags, and something that we're going to need to do.
With regard to injuries, I was surprised that Ira Nia did not play.
Yeah.
Ilios, where are you? I know Cummings is out for the long haul, but what about some of these other guys that were unable to go?
Yeah.
Saturday.
Sure, should get Spilios back. Ira's kind of day to day right now, so yeah, obviously hurt not having him, and I look forward to getting him back. I'm not sure when that's going to be.
And last for me, before I let you go, I mean, I'll talk to PJ on Wednesday more in depth about the defense, but is it kind of a double-edged sword thing with you can't? I think Strauss was mentioning a few years ago you put pressure and blitzed Hennigan, and he threw for 400 yards. So it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. You don't pressure him, and you drop the coverage. He picks your part. You pressure him, he can run to escape the pocket, or he can, it's just very difficult. And it'll be a similar deal against Zeno.
Yeah.
I think
the key is to mix it up some, Wags. You got to do a little bit of both, and you got to do a great job, disguising the things that you're doing, and defensively, we always want to make the quarterback uncomfortable if we can. And we want to try to confuse the O-line and present a lot of different looks. And sometimes you bring it, and sometimes you don't. And but that's just the nature of playing a really, really good quarterback and a really good system. That's a savvy player. And it's hard, right? It's like pick your poison a little bit, right? And we just didn't do a great job of executing some things Saturday. We got to be better defensively, and we will. And like I said, after the game, my thoughts about who we are on defense and about the job that Coach Volker and defense staff are doing has not changed at all. It was just it's one of those games, and I've been a part of a lot of those, and it's tough to hit the right call in those situations. But we'll be better. I know that. We'll be better after having gone through that type of game, Wags. This early in the year, we'll learn from it, we'll grow from it, and we'll get better.